November 14th, 2004, off the coast of San Diego, Commander David Fravor takes off from the USS Nimitz to investigate something on radar that shouldn't be there. What he finds is a smooth, white, 40-foot object, no wings, no engines, no exhaust, hovering over the ocean like it's sitting on glass. He flies toward it. It mirrors him. Then, in seconds, it's gone. "I think it was not from this world," Fravor said later. "I'm not crazy, haven't been drinking. After 18 years of flying, this was nothing close to anything I've seen." 19 years later, the US government finally admitted it takes this seriously. Not with a cover-up, with a report. This is what that report actually says, what the real videos actually show, and what a whistleblower told Congress under oath that the government's own investigators say has never been proven. You're watching Mindwired. NASA's real UFO files, what the government actually found. Chapter 1. The report nobody expected. September 14th, 2023. NASA holds a press conference and releases something it has never released before. A real 16-member scientific report on UAP, unidentified anomalous phenomena, what used to be called UFOs. The team includes astrophysicists, data scientists, aviation safety officials from the FAA, a science journalist, and a former NASA astronaut, Scott Kelly. This isn't a fringe committee. It's mainstream science, pointed at a subject it usually avoids. Their job was never to reinvestigate old sightings. It was to build a roadmap. What data already exists, what data NASA should collect next, and how its own satellites, radar, and AI tools could finally study this properly. The report's actual conclusion is almost boring compared to the headlines. Most sightings, it says, have ordinary explanations. What's left over isn't unexplained because it's extraordinary. It's unexplained because the data is bad. You've probably heard the number. 2 to 5% of cases are truly anomalous. That statistic is not in NASA's report, not on any page. It was a Pentagon official talking to reporters, not the scientists who wrote this document. The report frames the whole question around airspace safety, not alien contact. It wants pilots to report what they see, the same way they report a bird strike or a near miss, without being laughed out of the room. Chapter 2. The Tic Tac. Back to 2004. For 2 weeks before Fravor's flight, a radar operator on the cruiser USS Princeton had been tracking something strange. Objects, he said, that dropped 80,000 feet in under a second. Fravor's wingman that day was Alex Dietrich. She saw it too. Disturbed white water on the ocean surface, and something hovering just above it with no predictable movement at all. About 90 minutes later, a second crew launched, and this time, a camera was rolling. Infrared footage recorded by the jet's own targeting pod. This became the video, now known as FLA-1. This footage sat in classified limbo, then leaked online for over a decade. The Pentagon didn't officially release it and confirm it was real until April 2020. Under oath, years later, Fravor said the object was far superior to anything that we had at the time, have today, or are looking to develop in the next 10 to 20 years. Dietrich, testifying at the same hearing, was more careful. She's warned publicly against racing to conclusions and called for a serious, grounded, systematic approach instead. 2 pilots, same sighting, very different instincts about what to conclude from it. Chapter 3. What the sensors actually show. 2 more videos, recorded in 2015 off Jacksonville, Florida, became just as famous. GIMBAL and GOFAST. Also real, also officially released in 2020. GOFAST looks exactly like its name, an object streaking low and fast over the ocean. It became one of the most viral UFO clips ever filmed. Here's the honest part, almost nobody includes. An independent analyst named Mick West did the actual math on the plane's own instruments. His conclusion, the object isn't low and fast at all. Using the jet's own altitude and angle data, he calculated the object is really about 13,000 feet up, moving 30 to 40 miles an hour. Consistent with the wind that day. Likely just a balloon, made to look fast by an optical illusion called parallax. A similar analysis argues GIMBAL's famous mid-air rotation isn't the object spinning at all. It's glare from the camera's own lens, rotating with the pod housing. Neither explanation is an official finding. Both are real, honest, competing science. And here's the part that keeps this genuinely unresolved. The actual 2004 Tic Tac case has no equivalent explanation. The Pentagon itself says the raw sensor data from that day was never preserved. There's nothing left to reanalyze. Chapter 4. The Whistleblower. July 26, 2023. A former intelligence officer named David Grusch testifies before Congress under oath and says something extraordinary. He testifies the government has run a multi-decade program to recover and reverse engineer craft, quote, of non-human origin, and that non-human biological material came with some of those recoveries. But here's what almost never makes the headline. Grusch says he never personally saw a craft or a body. His claim rests on interviews with more than 40 people over 4 years. This is not eyewitness testimony, it's secondhand. And the Pentagon's own office for exactly this, AARO, investigated. Their published conclusion is direct. They found no verifiable information to substantiate that any such recovery or reverse engineering program has ever existed. The office's own former director went further, calling the entire network of these claims, quote, a textbook example of circular reporting, traceable to a small group of people who all believe and cite each other. So this is the honest shape of it. One man's second-hand testimony, under oath, on one side. The government's own dedicated investigators having looked directly for evidence of it on the other. As of today, that's still where it stands. Chapter 5. What NASA actually concluded. At the same September press conference, NASA officials said plainly there is no convincing evidence of an extraterrestrial origin for any of this. Also true, that line was spoken at the podium. It isn't a sentence you'll find printed in the report itself. What the report does say in writing is that the stigma around reporting these sightings is itself a scientific problem. Pilots stay quiet because they're afraid of being ridiculed, and that silence is exactly what keeps the data too thin to ever settle this. That same day, NASA created a brand new position, Director of UAP Research. Its first head was a NASA data scientist named Mark McInerney, whose actual job was coordinating information, not chasing aliens. Chapter 6. Where this stands now. The Pentagon's investigators keep publishing. Their most recent public reporting logs, hundreds more sightings, resolves most of them, and again finds nothing confirmed to be extraterrestrial in any case they've investigated. Grusch, meanwhile, hasn't gone quiet. As recently as this year, he's escalated, now describing multiple kinds of life on what he calls a continuum from physical beings to something he terms sentient plasma. He's now a paid advisor to a sitting member of Congress, still pushing for full declassification. The government's own investigators still say they found nothing to back the core claim. What actually stays with me isn't Grusch, and it isn't the Pentagon either. It's David Fravor and Alex Dietrich, two people who saw the exact same thing from 20 feet apart and walked away believing two different things about what it meant. Real evidence rarely hands you a clean answer. It hands you a Navy pilot who's certain, a Navy pilot who isn't, and a government report that says, honestly, we don't have enough data yet to tell you which one is right. NASA's answer was never no. It was not yet. If a government report that admits it doesn't have enough data got you, wait until you hear the actual real sounds recorded in space, every one of them verified. Subscribe to Mindwired. If any of this messed with your head a little, well, that's exactly the point. And it only happens because people like you keep showing up. And
hit subscribe right now, Flynn. It costs you nothing, and it's the entire reason Mindwired keeps making videos like this. Subscribe.